Hello, hello? Hello, is the mic on?
For those people who do not know, and it may have just joined us, John Lennon died earlier today as the result of what seems to be one of those idiotic and pointless attacks by someone who probably didn't even know him. He was shot dead in New York at about 4 o'clock GMT.
And in New York, hundreds of fans are still gathered outside the home of the former Beatle John Lennon after his murder. Reaction to the news was swift in New York, as a CBS reporter told us.
Radio and television stations across the country report an avalanche of phone calls as word of John Lennon's murder spread. Many fans were said to have been grief-stricken. Disc jockeys from coast to coast are playing John Lennon's music. CBS News has received calls from Latin America and Europe seeking confirmation of the story.
The scene outside the Dakota building now is extraordinary. Hundreds of fans have congregated, many bringing with them lighted candles and flowers. Most are stunned by the news, and many are still screaming and shouting hysterically. How did you hear about the news?
On the television.
And what made you come along here?
Just to sort of pay our last respects, really. I don't know, it couldn't happen anywhere else, I don't think, but New York is disgusting.
John Lennon is a great person of our time. It's reminiscent of when Kennedy was killed. I was 8 years old then, and I remember that vividly.
The people gathered through the night outside Lennon's New York City apartment building and sang, "Give Peace a Chance."
But what of the reaction in Liverpool, where the Beatles story began? We've been talking to people on the streets.
He was part of the town, wasn't he? Part of the era I was in, anyway.
I recall right away, teenage, like, when I was, he was a teenager when I was a teenager, and, well, he's one of us, isn't he?
Very sad, very sad. He used to go to the cavern to see him, and I don't think he should have left Liverpool, he should have stayed here.
Yeah, I'd like to say hi to all of you. If I was there, I'd come and see you.
Even the older generation got to like the Beatles and like John Lennon because he was considered to be, quote, the funny one.
Do you think he has an American accent?
No, I don't.
No?
Anything but. In fact, I'm quite surprised that the man sounds very Liverpudlian, if I may say so.
Well, I mean, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
Well, you've got to be super eccentric to be eccentric in England. It's a nation of eccentrics. I mean, we're known throughout the world as eccentrics. I mean, that's what made us great. And I am eccentric, if you want to call it, meaning I didn't settle for a 9-to-5 job, and I won't settle for a gold record either.
I hope that during the course of this program, a lot of younger listeners who weren't really familiar with all the Beatles and John Lennon work will have been turned on to some of these wonderful songs by one of the great entertainers of the 20th century.
The love movement was very subversive, but in fact the government was very aware of it, it seems like.
Yeah.
They caught on. Maybe the people didn't catch on, but...
We were the kind of the court jesters of the youth movement.
Really, as the court jesters of the youth movement?
Yeah, well, now I do, looking back, you know, because we tried to do it with humor. It was really irrelevant what serious critics in the pop business said about what we were doing in bed and bags and that, as long as what we felt our duty or our position was to keep on about peace until something happened. You know, it was in the tradition of Gandhi, only with a sense of humor.
1975, when you retired and went underground, for want of a better phrase, you said, "I have made my contribution to society."
I didn't.
No,
This is the funny thing.
That.
You know how you're saying, well, were you laughing during the bed-ins and the bags and all that? It's funny that you're laughing about it. Of course we were laughing. We had fun.
Which was a collaboration with Phil Spector.
Yeah.
A lot of die-hard fans of the old days in Britain would say, yeah, John Lennon's our king rocker.
Oh, that's nice.
How does John Lennon feel about that statement?
Well,
Three people said that to me before I left London.
Well, good on you. I knight you as the king of rock. I know.
For 90 minutes, is that after a while you realize there's got to be a reason you're playing this music. The man really is dead. He is gone. He has been killed. And when you lose someone like Lennon so recently, comparatively, after having lost Elvis Presley, you realize that the dream is over, as Lennon said in the track God, for us as well. Elvis Presley died 41, fat, using too many drugs. John Lennon has now been sordidly, heartlessly killed. And we now know that our rock and roll heroes do die. And we have to grow up, I suppose. We've got to recognize that the ship of rock and roll doesn't keep its captains forever.
Live, or we're going to die. If we're dead, we'll have to deal with that. If we're alive, we've got to deal with being alive. So worrying about whether Wall Street or the apocalypse is going to come in the form of the great beast is not going to do us any good day to day.
Interested fans and otherwise. I miss a lot of you. I don't miss the ones that don't like me. You can go eat a banana. I appreciate all of you still listening to me. And I haven't even been home, folks, since Capital Radio was begun, so that's strange, isn't it? But I know England won't float away, Britain won't float away, so I'll see you when I see you. I'll just look a little weirder, probably. Bye-bye.
Radio 1 presents a special tribute to John Lennon, who was killed in New York on December the 8th last year. Only 2 days before, on December the 6th, Andy Peebles spent 3 hours talking to John and Yoko about their life together and their music. These interviews, broadcast over the next 5 weeks, form our tribute to John.
Imagine